of football that lies ahead is kicked off. And this is all things football. Football Unpacked. Good afternoon. Welcome to it. My name is Apiwe Roto. Plenty to talk about as far as football is concerned, with six PSL games currently underway as we conclude the season, the 2024-2025 Betway Premiership season. Currently underway, Chippa and Skukune United are currently scoreless in the first half. With 19 minutes deep at the Cesar Mabudu Stadium, or better yet, the Dr. Petrus Mulemele Stadium. Let's give you a brief starting 11. Daniel Akpe, Ngube, Matiane, Sbia, Maboja, Edgar Manaka, Mahlatsi, Strollen, Nemateja, Nemtajela, Msendami, and Dino Ndlovu. Well, on Chippa United side, it's Johnson, Madingwane, Markeleb, Jesse Shabalala, Sitole, Craig Martin, Sinoxolo Kwaiba, Spuso Kumalo, Giovanna Philander, Abulela Matrosa, and of course Ronaldo Marman. Currently, the score is goalless in that game. In our other game, we have TS Galaxy versus Orlando Pirates, which is we have Orlando Pirates versus TS Galaxy, which is also scoreless. Let's give you how those starting 11 look. Pirates play a 4-2-3-1 formation with Chaine, Bandile Shandu, Kosnats BC. Mbegezeli Mbogazi, Dion Hoto, Kabelo Dlamini, Silepe Nkota, Patrick Masonganya, Rede Bufukeng, and Tseho Faso Mabasa as the center forward. While TS Galaxy start with Era, Letuenyo, Andamane, Mahlangu, Sibelka Lemogelo Sibelebele, Maduna Mgaga, Ditejane and Litswalo, just to mention a few. Supersport United Steadies have just scored against Super United at the Danny Craven Stadium, a goal from Sanele Barnes in the 15th minute. Let's give you a brief look of how those teams line up. It's Oscarin Masuluke, Godswell, Enyinaya, Ishmael Torre, Tabo Molaisana, Fawaz Basadin, Siabonganduli, Sanele Barnes, the goal scorer, Devin Titus, Tato Kiba, Lisibanku, and Andre de Jong. While Sport United play a 4-4-2 formation under Andre Arendt, looking for his second win in the league, with Ricardo Gos and goal, and Apiwe Baliti, Tyson Hladrayo, Eme Okon, Boris Susanoka, Laila K, Gape Moralo, Spacey Ndlovu, Nigo Mobi, Christian Sile, and Bradley Grobler. In our other game, Ramallah Chiefs currently trails Kukune United by a goal to nil, which was scored by Ramallah in the 4th minute. Let's see how the starting 11s look on that side. Lina, Mokhaila, Yamba, Katoso, Litlapa, Ramallah, the goal scorer, Kize, Tabang Monare, Mahalwa, Psihlali, and of course Rusomuzi Ngube. While Kaiser Chiefs start with Brennan Peterson, Aidan McCarthy, Edmel Sentove, Zita Macheke, Dean Solomons, Dylan Solomons, I beg your pardon, Yusuf Martin, Gosing Pile Ngobo makes a start, Aaron Pulemodi, Gaston Sereno, Claudia Mulepo, and of course Tabang Wandile Duba as a forward. On to our other game, we have Richards Bay, KZN Derby, Golden Arrows. We have currently scoreless, 22nd minute at the Kingswell Stadium. The battle for the top 8, the battle for survival continues. These sides are rather better for the top 8, with Aros placed at 13th, while as it stands, while Richards Bay are on 11. Richards Bay start with Salim Taba, Spim Tseneka, Mabuwas, Kumalo, Zulu, Gomete, Tikazi, Mhlongo, Ngema, and of course Bonelo. While on the other side, Edward Mahova, Siyabonga Cele, Gianni Shitolo Maklaba, Siyabonga Nduduzo Sbia, rather, I beg your pardon, Dlamini Zwane, Nkunu Van Rooy, and of course Tanti. On to our Crystal, we also have the FA Cup final, which kick off for that fixture at 17:30. FA Cup final with Crystal Palace looking to win their first trophy since gaining promotion to the Premier League, while Man United will be looking to leave with at least one trophy, having lost the Premier League to Liverpool and fell short in the UEFA Champions League, losing out to Real Madrid. On to news making headlines in the world of football in the last week. Kaizer Chiefs head coach Nasruddin Nabi, of course. Let's start with news coming in. The show, rather, was supposed to start on a somber note following the passing of former Springbok winger in Cornell Hendricks before everything else, who passed on mid on Wednesday evening from heart attack. Now, Cornell Hendricks plied his trade the Blue Bulls in the Currie Cup and played for uh, he starting his career with Boland Cavaliers, playing for them in 2008, where he also started as a youth. They played high school rugby at the Bergrivier High School in Wellington. Played with Boland Cavaliers, both in junior and senior level, along with the Cheetahs in the Super Rugby, Free State Cheetahs in the Currie Cup, Bulls in the Super Rugby, and of course the Blue Bulls in 2019 to 2024. But now Ray, born and raised in Paarl, Wellington, Eastern Cape, growing up in a poor area of Hillcrest. Uh, in Wellington, he came from a sporty family where mostly his father and his or grandfather all played rugby. He passed from a heart attack on the 14th of May. Hendricks is survived by his wife and his two children. He was a man who was deeply religious through despite his health struggles. Who credited his health through his survival. Now he did announce his retirement due to his heart condition. However, he did come out of retirement and continue to play rugby before losing his life before deciding to hang his boots for good at last year in 2024, dying of a heart attack on Wednesday, the 14th of May, at the young, tender age of 37. Condolences go to the family of the Hendricks, the football fraternity, and friends and fans at large. May his soul rest in peace. Now, I know this is a football show, but we also about South African football heritage. We also lost to rugby. Cricket is also a loss to sport as a whole, and all things football. As much as all things football is a football show, we also revolve that. We also bring put you in involve the happenings in other sports from time to time. Let's talk about news making headlines in the world of football in the last week. We were on Kaiser Chiefs head coach Nasruddin Nabi, who's given reason for his decision to play goalkeeper Brendan Peterson in the Nedbank Cup final instead of Bruce Vuma, who's played well, which also raises the question mark. Kaiser Chiefs have considered the least amount of goals in the Nedbank Cup, despite conceding the most amount of goals in despite conceding the amount of goals the most amount of goals in the PSL. Let's have a look at the news making headlines in the world of football. Stating back to the Nedbank Cup final. The story revolves around Coach Nasruddin Nabi, and his brave decision, which many thought was risky, which could have gone horribly wrong had he decided to had Kaiser Chiefs lost. Let's talk about in a sold out affair which Kaiser Chiefs won by 2 goals to 1 to end a 10-year drought. It took through an enormous volley from Yusuf Maat to with just 10 minutes left on the clock. The game was a replay of what happened the previous week with the same scoreline. However, the tables were turned. Speaking at a press conference, the Tunisian tactician, stated that the pressure that the goalkeeper, the shot stopper, or Bruce Fuma, the 30-year-old shot stopper, was receiving was inhumane. He explained, he went on to state, we were just didn't want to just protect him, but we noticed the several other two keepers are almost on the same level. And Brendan has been training tremendously well with goalkeeper coach Elias Mzuki, but don't think for 1 minute it was an easy decision. It could have gone either way. If you considered, people have asked, why did you change in the final? Why did you fix it if it was not broken? Which begs the question, who is to blame exactly? When the team wins, Kaizer Chiefs have scored the most goals in the Nedbank Cup, winning 4-0 against Free Agents, 3-0 against Chippa United, 3-1 against Stellenbosch in the quarterfinal, and 2-1 against Mamelodi Sundowns, and winning 2-1 again against Orlando Pirates, and only conceding 3 goals in the process, while they've been conceding the most goals in the league, considered the most goals in the league, with a huge goal difference. We didn't just want to. He goes on to say, our goalkeeper was confident. That's what he's put in. The work with Peterson can help us in the 90 minutes. He proved, which was proved on to be an excellent bet. Now, bear in mind, Brendan, Kaizer Chiefs have never lost a game in open play with Brendan Peterson in goal against Orlando Pirates, which also went on to work in their advantage. Kaizer Chiefs are currently underway in one of the games, and as they trail by a goal to nil at the new Peter Mkaba Stadium. On to our other news making headlines in the world of football. The South African Football Association has addressed allegations of a 10 million rand payment that was given to President Dr. Denny Jordan, who rebuffed the claims, citing them as malicious and ridiculous. In a statement, malicious and mischievous against President on a Sunday. Uh, let's have a look at the story now. Right, in a statement that was made by the South African Football Association, the report states that the report that was obtained illegally relates to all payments made to the president since 2007. It covers a period of 18 years, during time which Dr. Denio Don held various positions in FIFA, from as CEO until 2008, CEO of the World Cup bid until 2006, and CEO of the FIFA World Cup from 2006 until 2011. It also includes SAFA meeting allowances, honorariums, which were paid to NEC. Now you ask yourself, maybe asking yourself, NEC members, over a period exceeding 30 years, you may be asking yourself, who are the NEC? Now, when you talk of the NEC, you talk of the people who have a say, the major players, and you're talking of the major players in terms of the decision making and the federation, if I can put it like that. Uh, you talk of a National Executive Committee. That's what NEC stands for. The guys who make the decisions and decide what happens when and where. We seem to have lost our lighting for that. For that. I'd like to apologize. Okay, that's much better. Tell me what you think of the stories. Let's have a conversation. This is the penultimate episode, by the way, of all things football Unpacked. Going into the breakdown of the SAFA report is written as below. The honorarium and NEC meeting allowance is paid to all NEC members. Separation payments between SAFA and the president when he returned from deployment from the 2010 World Cup Local Organizing Committee. Bonus paid to the Three Musketeers, namely Dr. Yordini Yordan, Dr. Ivan Koza, and former President Dr. Malifa Oliphant, for securing the World Cup, which is a substantial portion. This also includes payments from SAFA, which are paid into the transfer into Dr. Yordan, into the account to Dr. Yordan. The accounts are made via the bank accounts, and all the payments are made to the president over the period authorized. This story was now that remember to, if you missed anything, go to a far post and check on the story. Uh, while we go into the other story, speaking of which, we go to our next story. There's plenty to talk about, by the way. One of them being John Commitist, who's the chairman of who is the chairman of Cape Town City, who has proved expressed displeasure at the delay of the replay of the game, of the delay in terms of resumption when it comes to the game Betway Premiership fixture between SuperSport United and Golden Arrows. Now you remember the game was cut short, where it had to be cut short at halftime and could not resume due to load shedding and Lucas Masterpieces Moripa Stadium not having an extra generator for the game to continue, which prevented the game to backup generator, which did not allow the game to continue. Now, Committees vented his frustration to kickoff.com, stating that I can't send a letter to the CEO of the league because she has a conflict of interest. Now, when you talk of conflict of interest, we must remember Mama Dumadlala is the CEO of the PSL and also the owner of the club Golden Arrows FC. So he goes on to state, I can't pick up the call and ask her what is happening. I'm strictly perturbed by how the league and the executive have left the matter between SuperSport United unresolved despite being addressed at the disciplinary committee. However, it is possible that a situation from Feb. How is it possible that a situation from February, when the game took place, just as we approach the last two games of the season, thus and the remains unsolved. This impacts the potential relegation of Golden Arrow Super Sport United, who lie 15th, with Royal AM having been removed from the PSL. The teams that played against Royal AM secured points were at a disadvantage, which includes Golden Arrows and Cape Town City. Kaiser Chiefs, who also had their 1 point docked. Additionally, we received yellow cards against Royal AM, which have been had significant implications later on, and those still stand. Nearly 30 years now. The PSL turns 30 next year. Since its inception in the 1996-1997 season, which was the inaugural, being won by the now defunct Manning Rangers. Now, PSL needs to do better in such instances. We can't have such instances later on. So I do understand his frustration to some extent. We can't have such incidents at this. We can't have such situations at this stage. We need to have backup. We need to improvise if need be. So to some extent, we have to make things happen. Now, speaking of which, the news in with regards to the CAF Champions League final, which takes place next week. As a result of this, Sundowns will play their game earlier than normal, which is tomorrow, their last game of the season, which will be 28 instead of 30, considering that there will be no return matches against the games against Royal AM have been removed. And will be given the trophy, which is yet to be shown, considering the fact that Nelson MacArthur's designer, Nelson Makamu, has confirmed in his interview with Sokala Duma that he has finished the trophy. It is ready. And we're just waiting for the people to see it. We are going to be the first to see. We are going to see it. Look out for my page, All Things Football Unpacked, where I will put out the trophy as soon as it's put out. I will show you pictures of the trophy and of course the PSL awards, which will be revealed at a later stage. On to our other news. We talk Kaiser Chiefs goalkeeper and Grindori, who has not been added at first, who's been struggling for game time. Speaking to Rwanda national team coach Adel Amriche, who discussed the tricky situation that the Rwandan international finds themselves in with Kaiser Chiefs. He stating that now remember Fiakrintwari had a spectacular season with TS Galaxy, which saw him learn the move at Kaiser Chiefs. However, he struggled to get into form with Kaiser Chiefs, conceding goals. Since with this game dating back to the quarterfinal of the Carling Knockout Cup, which they lost by 4 goals to 0 at the FNB Stadium, for which he took most of the heat. After the latter helped Amakosi get their first trophy in a decade, it means the goalkeeping order undergone has undergone a shake-up. The latter being Brendan Peterson. Speaking to Gumento, speaking to the national Adel Amriche, who's a coach of the Rwanda national team, he goes on to say, "I think they have a good goalkeeper coach in Elias Mzuki and Coach Nabi. I trust the coaches, the goalkeeper. I know him from a long time." Amrichi said, speaking exclusively to Kickoff magazine, Pachinodra is an international goalkeeper. He is the first choice at Rwanda. People love him. His teammates love him. Unfortunately, did not make it in the Nedbank Cup, but it's not the end. He needs to continue working hard. With time, he's going to take the position as number one, because he has a lot of quality, and there's interest from France, as mentioned. There's been interest from overseas. It remains to be seen whether or not the 24-year-old will leave 25-year-old rather will leave the club. Will leave the club with interest coming from linked with the player linked with interest from France. Rwanda plays South Africa in October in their last World Cup qualifier. With the East African nation, having an edge, beating the side 2-0 in Butare last year on match day in 2023 on match day 2. On to our other story, the South African Football Association Gauteng wing finds itself in trouble. When we talk of what do we mean by finding itself in trouble, this comes after Nigerian footballer Franklin Ogbonna was accused of using fraudulent study and general work visas while playing for Highlands Park, and if found guilty by the South African Football Association on the matter. The player is apparently in the country illegally. They have 83 points after 34 games, which puts them 6 points ahead of second place Gomorrah United. Now, it is understood that a case has been opened against SAFA, the Gauteng local board organizing the Gauteng football governing body, SAFA Gauteng, and Highlands Park. It is believed that Obona joined the club from Jomo Cosmos, where he was said to have played with fraudulent registration. uh, and the statement goes on to say, SAFA must explain how they registered a player without proper documentation, especially one who is in the country illegally. As clubs, we have signed a petition to request the removal of Victor Ralejane, who is the South African Football Association Gauteng administrator, Joe Serrano, or Joe Sienago, Sienego rather, of Gomorrah United, told Kickoff over the phone. Ubona is not the only player affected. There is a lot of corruption, and Gauteng goes on to say, and referees are captured. We are spending a lot of money here, and we cannot allow administration to capture us. There's also a player for Lamasia, but unfortunately they didn't play him. He's a foreigner, considered to be an under 23 player, most likely another case of age cheating. The case is this. So how are we supposed to win the league? Guys, we need to do better. These things make our football look bad as a whole. These are things that can be fixed. Currently underway, Kyle Chiefs still trailing by a goal to nil as a game is approaching halftime. All games are currently heading for halftime. On to our ultimate news. We talk about coach Jose Rivero, who has opted not to extend his stay at Orlando Pirates after winning five trophies, losing the Nedbank Cup, which he was unable to capture for the third time to help the side make history, dating back with the last time with Kaiser Chiefs having last won the tournament, which was then known as the Life Challenge Cup from 1973 to 1975. It is understood that the mentor will now replace Marcel Kohler as the new permanent manager going into the FIFA Club World Cup, which is set to take place in the United States. And we now you heard him talk to Sports Night with Sports Night Amplified with Andile went on Wednesday after the Golden Arrows game, which Pirates emerged victorious in by 3 goals to 0. An Egyptian publication, Awan Masa, reports that the Spanish mentor is scheduled to visit Al Ahly's headquarters in Gazira later for an official with official club president Mahmoud Al Khatib. During that meeting, it is expected that the two parties will finalize the contract details of the new coaching staff before officially putting pen to paper. Once the paper is done, the Spanish tactician is expected to begin his duty. However, one former player has not taken kindly to the decision. He has not taken kindly to the decision. Former goalkeeper in Agrami Al Shahal feels that the Spanish tactician is the weakest candidate. In a statement, he went on to say, "I don't know who Ribeiro is." Al Shahid was reported as saying, according to Al Masri Al Yum, maybe Al Ali sees him as as the future, or maybe they're trying to replicate the Peter Muslimani experience when he came from Sundowns. All the other candidates whose were mentioned had stronger CVs than his. He was the weakest among them, he went on to say. On to our last story. We talk. There's been talks of VAR coming into the PSL. Let's talk about the minister. Let's talk about the Minister of Sports and our local Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Gayton Mackenzie, on VAR in the PSL. Let's hear what he had to say. Uh, Now, there's been complaints over the dis- re- re- decisions that left a lot to be desired with regards to Kaiser Chiefs with regards to the decisions made by VAR. Kaiser Chiefs have equalized through via Kaiser Chiefs have since it scores now 1-1 at the old Peter Mugabe Stadium, with Claudio Lelepo netting his fifth league goal this season, to make it 1-1 as the teams go into halftime. Speaking to Gate, to the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, he was been asked where is VAR. Now, he did promise that VAR would kick off, VR would be available in April. However, he has stated that he posted on his X profile on Thursday. "I promised and I said in the month of April, I've done it. The money is there. The advert went out. FIFA will tell you they do not want the department to do it. They want Safa to do it, so the 90 million rand is there. We went to Spain with the help of Supersport again. We tested with the video assistant referee. It works 100%. The matter now lies with Safa, as he explained." He goes on to say, "Now we're waiting for Safa to announce the company that will win the tender to do the VAR." He asked that people stop asking him where VAR is. He has confirmed that VR will be in full use in the year that is in the new season, the 2025-2026 season. So Sport assisted us so next season there will be VAR. Let's give Safa a chance to finalize. There will be VAR in our soccer in South Africa. On to our results. That's all from our news. on our penultimate episode of All Things Football Unpacked. Let's have a look at your results dating back to the 10th of May. Kaizer Chiefs won by 2 goals to 1 to capture their first trophy since domestic trophy since 2014, and their with their first domestic since 2014. When we talk of trophies in general, we talk about the league, which they lost on in 2015. However, we talk about domestic trophy in this case, which is the Nedbank Cup, which they lost on in 2013. Now, these sides are no strangers to each other in the tournament. In the final, having met in 1988, which Pirates won by 2 goals to 1 after a replay ended in a goalless draw at Ellis Park. They met again in 2006, which was decided on a 5 goals to 3 on penalties by as Kaizer Chiefs emerged victorious. Uh, as Kaizer Chiefs emerged victorious, uh, we emerged victorious. I beg your pardon. English Premier League results. Fulham fell short in English Premier League results. Now there were no PSL fixtures on Saturday due to the Nedbank Cup final. However, there was a catch-up game with Mamelodi Sundowns, who are busy on the continent. I'll give you that result in a moment. Fulham on the Saturday fixtures fell short to Everton by 3 goals to 1, while Ipswich Town were the relegated Ipswich Town fell short by an odd goal. Southampton left Manchester City frustrated with that goalless draw. Wolves fell short to Brighton by losing by 2 goals to 0. Bournemouth going down by an odd goal. Newcastle beating Chelsea by 2 goals to 0 on Saturday. Manchester United also went down by 2 goals to 0. Leaving them placed 17th. Nottingham Forest and Leicester City could not be separated, with Nottingham Forest almost missing out on the next season's Champions League. So the fight still continues. Whether or not they are in with a chance, it remains to be seen. Tottenham and Crystal Palace. Tottenham falling short in that London derby, losing by 2 goals to 0. Liverpool and Arsenal could not be separated. Arsenal, despite finishing with 10 men, came from 2 goals down to play a 2-2 draw. Betway Premiership. Only Betway Premiership result on Sunday saw Mamelodi Sundowns winning by 3 goals to 0 to put one hand on that Betway Premiership, winning their 8th successive title, making history. Orlando Pirates beating Golden Arrows by 3 goals to 0 in the reverse fixture. Now, in case you're asking about the success of fixtures, because they did meet in the previous week, which was last week, and they met again this past Tuesday. Now, the game in Durban was supposed to take place earlier in the season, at the Mpumalanga Stadium in Hammersdale. However, that game could not be played due to a waterlogged pitch. Now, that game was moved to Moses Mabhida Stadium, which Sundowns Pirates won by 2 goals to 1. Now, this was a return leg, which Pirates won by 3 goals to 0. Chippa United also fell short at the Buffalo City Stadium, where they lost to Mamelodi Sundowns, who are crowned champions, by winning by 3 goals to 0, repeating what they did in 2006, making Miguel Cardoso the second coach after Angel Kappa to have been crowned champions with Mamelodi, to win the league with Mamelodi Sundowns at the Buffalo City Stadium. English Premier League results: we saw a double header last night. Aston Villa beating Tottenham Hotspur by 2 goals to 0 to boost their chance of playing in the Champions League, to make that top 5 race more intense, while Chelsea fell short from a Cucurella odd late goal. Were too strong for Man United through a Cucurella odd goal to make it 1-0. Stellenbosch coming up, currently underway. All fixtures are going through a half time. The game still lead by an odd goal, with a goal from Sanele Barnes against SuperSport United, while Richards Bay and Golden Arrows, Polokwane City face Cape Town City. Orlando Pirates take on TS Galaxies. Kukune United face Kaizer Chiefs. The score is currently 1-1 at halftime in that one. Marumo Gallants take on Chippa United. And Sunday sees Mike Kaiser Chiefs Mamelodi Sundowns, I beg your pardon, play their last game against Magesi FC to make way for the CAF Champions League final, which they are going to play next week. Now, to avoid what happened last week, the CAF have decided to use that to play that game later. They have decided to Sundowns have decided not to give out free tickets to spectators to avoid what happened in the game against Esperance in the quarterfinal, which saw a lot of violence. However, the tickets have been sold out. If you missed out, you can sit back, watch at home. You can watch at that sports bar. You can watch at that fan park. Please do not go and force matters. Please do arrive on time so that we avoid delays. And having to take safety precautions because we have to take precautions whenever there is late arrival of spectators, like we did in the league derby prior to the final. Please do not force matters if you do not have a ticket, otherwise law enforcement will have to deal with you accordingly. The FA Cup final is also on today. Kickoff of the fixture is at 17:30. Crystal Palace versus Manchester United. Manchester United will be looking to salvage the only trophy for the season, having lost the league to Liverpool, and the UEFA Champions League and Carabao Cup, which was won by Newcastle United. Crystal Palace will be looking to win their first FA Cup since gaining promotion. And on Sunday we'll see our Premier League fixtures. Our only Premier League fixtures include Everton welcoming Southampton at the Goodison Park. Kickoff of the fixtures at 1300 hours. West Ham take on Nottingham Forest. Brentford the Bees will be looking to sting Fulham at the GTAC Community Stadium. Leicester City, the relegated Leicester City and Ipswich Town will face off at the King Power Stadium. Arsenal face Newcastle on the blockbuster fixture at the Emirates Stadium. On to our other news. Brighton face Liverpool. The Betway Premiership will see on Tuesday. Pirates will play catch up, having been tied up in continental commitments. As they catch up, they will be playing Super Sports United, who they beat by 2 goals to 0 in the first leg. And on English Premier League fixtures on Tuesday, we'll see Crystal Palace playing the Wolverhampton Wanderers, while Manchester City, I beg your pardon, will face off against Bournemouth. And that's all we have time for on All Things Football. All Things Football, Football Unpacked. Remember to hit that like button on YouTube if you like the show, if you're a fan, and if you wish to see more, hit that subscribe button. And of course, remember to like the show on YouTube. On Facebook, like the page on Facebook. The Facebook page is there. All Things Football, Football Unpacked. This has been football. Hope you enjoy. The Motsepe Foundation Championship also concludes next week. Then it concludes tomorrow. Kickoff for those fixtures is at 1500 hours. Join me next week for the last episode of the season finale of All Things Football. That's all I have time for. My name is Apiwe Roto. This has been All Things Football, Football Unpacked. Enjoy the show. I hope you're enjoying the football. Take care of yourselves and each other. Cheers.